When we think about electronic waste, most of us imagine broken devices being thrown away. Old computers in dumpsters, cracked screens in landfills, outdated technology discarded and forgotten. But the largest environmental impact of electronic waste often doesn't come from what's thrown away. It comes from what's kept. Millions of unused electronics are sitting quietly in storage right now. And while they appear harmless, they are slowly creating environmental risk. Most electronics are not immediately disposed of when they're replaced. Instead, they're boxed up and stored. They sit in closets, basements, filing rooms, IT storage areas, warehouses, schools, and municipal facilities. They're kept because of data concerns, uncertainty, or the idea that they might still be useful someday. This kind of storage feels responsible, but it creates a dangerous misconception. Because storage does not stop environmental impact. It simply delays it. Even when powered off, electronics are not inactive. Inside every device, chemical and physical processes continue. Batteries slowly degrade. Capacitors dry out. Circuit boards oxidize and corrode. These changes don't happen all at once. They happen gradually, over months and years. And most storage environments are not designed to slow this process. Temperature changes, humidity, and poor ventilation accelerate degradation, especially in basements, garages, and utility rooms. What looks like safe storage is often silent deterioration. Modern electronics are built with materials that require careful handling. Lead, mercury, cadmium, nickel, and flame-retardant chemicals are commonly found inside everyday devices. When electronics remain intact and properly managed, these substances stay contained. But as components age and degrade, the risk changes. Cracked housings, swelling batteries, corroded circuit boards, and brittle plastics increase the chance of leakage and contamination. At that point, stored electronics are no longer just unused equipment. They become unmanaged hazardous material. One of the most serious risks associated with stored e-waste comes from batteries. Lithium-ion batteries, used in phones, laptops, tablets, and countless other devices, are chemically unstable by nature. As they age, internal reactions can cause swelling, short circuits, or thermal runaway. These failures don't always show visible warning signs. When large numbers of devices are stored together, a single battery failure can ignite surrounding electronics. Storage rooms can quickly become fire hazards, especially when devices are stacked, damaged, or forgotten. This risk increases with time. When battery fires occur, the damage goes far beyond property loss. Burning electronics release toxic smoke filled with heavy metals and chemical particulates. Fire suppression systems can spread contaminated runoff into soil and water systems. Facilities often require extensive cleanup and remediation afterward. What begins as a stored device can escalate into an environmental emergency. And these incidents are entirely preventable. Every electronic device contains valuable finite resources. Copper, aluminum, steel, lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements are essential to modern manufacturing. When devices are stored indefinitely, these materials remain locked away. They cannot be reused. They cannot be recovered. They cannot offset the need for new extraction. As a result, manufacturers are forced to rely more heavily on mining to meet demand. Mining is one of the most environmentally damaging industrial activities in the world. It contributes to deforestation, habitat destruction, water contamination, and significant carbon emissions. Entire ecosystems are disrupted to extract materials that already exist inside unused electronics. When recycling is delayed, mining increases. Stored electronics don't reduce environmental impact. They shift it elsewhere. Many organizations believe that holding on to electronics is the environmentally responsible choice. But storage without action is not sustainability. It is stagnation. Devices lose reuse value as technology changes. Components degrade. Risks grow. What was once functional equipment becomes obsolete inventory and eventually a liability. Sustainability is not about waiting. It's about completing the life cycle responsibly. E-waste recycling is often misunderstood as disposal. In reality, it is prevention. Proper recycling prevents toxic materials from breaking down in uncontrolled environments. It eliminates fire hazards from aging batteries. It returns valuable materials back into productive use. Recycling stops environmental damage before it begins, instead of reacting after harm has already occurred. This is where licensed recyclers matter. Licensed recyclers follow regulated handling, storage, and processing protocols. Batteries are treated as hazardous materials. Data-bearing devices are properly managed. Materials are safely recovered instead of stockpiled. Licensed recycling transforms risk into recovery and responsibility into action. Clearing stored electronics protects people, facilities, and the environment. It reduces fire risk. It prevents chemical degradation. It conserves resources. It lowers the demand for environmentally destructive mining. Most importantly, it turns unused electronics back into part of a responsible cycle. If your organization is storing unused electronics or batteries, now is the time to act. Reach us by phone, email, or our website to learn how responsible recycling can reduce risk and protect the environment. E-waste doesn't become safe by sitting still. Recycling it on time prevents environmental damage before it begins.